Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the round two preview. It's only round two, and we've already got teams under pressure. How good is rugby league? And to have it back. So let's get straight into it. Tonight's game, we've got the Sharks versus the Dragons down at Southern Cross Group Stadium, Shark Park. Interesting game coming up here. We've got a bit of a late change with the Cronulla lineup where we've got Dugan going to fullback, it seems. We've got Holmes to wing and Aaron Gray to centre. Personally, for me, I don't think that is the greatest change for the Sharks. If it was me, I'd be putting Moylan back to fullback. I'd have Holmes in wing for Gray, and I'd be moving Hodkinson then to halfback for the Sharks. I feel like that'd be a much better lineup for them moving forward. I think this chop and change. I don't think Dugan is the greatest fullback in the game at the moment, and for the Sharks, they seem to have good 3 or 4 fullbacks there, and I think Dugan will probably be coming in about third there. So for mine, I'd be leaving Dugan at centre. I think his ball playing has been lacking. So as a fullback these days, I think you need to have that ball playing skills. So he has been lacking that. So that would be the way I'd be going today. But they're not doing it that way. The Dragons settled lineup basically from round one with their big win over the Broncos. Interesting game. It's going to be a tough one to choose, actually. I've been thinking about this one all week, basically. I'm still not too sure it's going to be the best team to go for. I've decided to go the Sharks. I think the Sharks can get this by about 7 points. I think they'll need to have a win after last week. As I said just before, I know it's only round two, but there is pressure for teams to get that first win off the board and up and going. And I think Sharks will just find a way with their forward. It's going to be a good forward battle. It's going to be a massive forward battle tonight. But I just think with Gallum coming back to the starting lineup, I think Fafita's going to have a big game tonight, along with Graham. I think they'll just be able to do enough to get the win. As I said, Sharks by about 7. The first of the Friday games, it's the Roosters up against the Bulldogs. And first of all, for this game, just not too sure why the NRL has put a Sydney game at Allianz Stadium at the 6 o'clock time frame. That's one of the worst decisions I feel like they could have possibly gone with. Everyone who lives in Sydney knows the Sydney traffic is horrible. If they can get a crowd over 10,000 there tomorrow night, I'll be very, very surprised. But back with this game, you've got two clubs who need to have a win. But the Roosters have got a bit of pressure on them now. They've come into the season with this star-studded lineup. They got done by what many thought would be a wooden spoon sort of Tigers outfit. They got Keary back, who for mine is a big add for them. I think last year he was a big reason why they did go quite well for the year. I think he'll balance that lineup quite well and work with Cooper Cronk very well. The Dogs keep their similar lineup, that for Tyler Mariner in the second row. Look out for him, very good player. I think he's going to continue that, and I think Keary's going to have a bit of nightmares with him this week. I see the Roosters winning this. Once again, though, I don't see them winning by too much. I think the Dogs showed enough last week to show that they're going to be a team that can attack, put some points on. The defence, they might need to do a little bit more work on the defensive side of things. A couple of soft tries last week from the Storm. As I said, Roosters, I think Roosters by about 8. The Broncos versus the Cowboys for the Friday night game. Another one of these Queensland classics. I don't see this one going as a Queensland classic. I think the Cowboys can get this done and quite comfortably. For mine, the Broncos, they've got a very interesting couple of games coming up, actually. They've got the Cowboys tomorrow night, then they've got the Tigers at Campbelltown next week. I can really see them going 0-3 to start the year. That's going to put a heap of pressure on the team. Is it too early to be asking, is the great coach Wayne Bennett going to be under pressure this year to keep his job? And interesting, I think they're going to definitely start McCullough this time from hooker, which they basically need to do. You can't have Thaiday starting at hooker. Let's see how their halves go up against the best player in the world, Jonathan Thurston. There's talk that Morgan's back. I'm not too sure. I feel like they might give him one more week just to make sure he is free. But Tamari Martin's a very good player, as we've seen in the last couple of years, and they don't miss too much with him there and letting Jonathan Thurston run the show. I've got the Cowboys winning this by a good 12-point margin. I just think they've got too much class overall, that forward pack, and then their bench forwards like Cohen, Hess, Asiata, and the experience of Scott Bolton coming on after you've withheld that first instance with Scott, McLean, Gavin Cooper, Tamalolo. Then you've got those guys coming off the bench. It just doesn't seem to stop, and I think they're going to be far too strong for a Brisbane outfit, which is still looking for a few answers, I think, early on in the season. The first Saturday game, we've got the Warriors and the Titans. Both clubs showed a lot the first round, to a surprise of most of us, I think. This is going to be an interesting game. I'm really looking forward to this one. I think there's going to be a lot of attack, a lot of points scored for this game. As we've already seen, Blake Green and Sean Johnson's combination working quite well early on. I think Green takes a lot of pressure off Johnson. I think that's going to work best for the Warriors this year. I like their little breathing they do after each time they score some tries, just to get together, get in a bit of a huddle, calm things down, relax. I think moving forward, they've really found a way to work themselves into a game better and can keep control of a game. That's something that the Warriors outfit have lacked a lot of late. I've seen enough signs so far last week to show that they could do quite well this year. Give it a couple more weeks until I do include them as a top 8 team, but from what I've seen so far, definitely some signs there that they can do that, turn it around. The Titans, just one of those sides who are going to keep going. We've seen that last week. The last try you could probably argue was a bounce of the ball that they were just lucky enough to be there for, but you create your own luck. They definitely kept going for that game and tried their hardest, and you just see with a bit of persistence it pays off, and they were there to win that game. I've got the Warriors winning this one by 8. But as I said, I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game and a lot of attack, a lot of points. Going to definitely be a good game to watch, so looking forward to that one. The next game, you got the Panthers in South Sydney over at Penrith Park. Hopefully it's not 30-odd degrees like it was on Sunday. Crazy weather. We've got two sides for mine that the Panthers are showing very, very good signs early. I think they're definitely going to be in around the 8. Rabbitohs still got a few things to work out, and the big loss for mine is they've got Reynolds out, which is a huge loss. And they've got the new up-and-coming Jahihi. I think that's how you pronounce it. Apologies if it's not. If you play Supercoach, it's definitely a good buy for this week. Moving forward, you've got Reynolds out for quite a number of weeks, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go moving forward and how he handles it. But you can't really go past the Panthers here. They've showed enough to suggest that they're definitely going to be up there this year. Their halves partner of Maloney and Cleary is definitely going to keep pushing their case for State of Origin during the year. I've got the Panthers winning this by 16 points. The Storm and the Tigers. Storm always seem to do these big games. It's Billy Slater's 300th game, and they're just a club that continues to make sure when a player has a milestone, they get up for the game and they win that game. And I don't see anything different happening with this one. Once again, I do think the Tigers will give them a run for their money. But I just see the Storm winning this and being too classy for a Tigers outfit, which I think may come down a little bit from their hype from last week. It was a big game, obviously, against the Roosters with Tedesco playing against his old club, so there could have been a bit of fire between the two clubs there, and it's easy to get up for those games. I think there could be a bit of a down for the Tigers this week. You're interested to see if they've changed as a club, and that's not the case, which I hope it's not for them and their supporters. But I see the Storm being too clinical. Slater comes back to fullback. Munster goes to 5'8". It's just the side gets better, and it's a bit scary to think that a side that did lose Cronk last year, and we all thought they'd come down a little bit. Once you just start to see their side once again on paper, you realise how good of a club that they've got down there at the moment. And I see the Storm winning this by 14. The first of the Sunday games. Well, here we go. It's another Manly v Para. Interestingly, the last time Manly has defeated Para would be 2014, so they've got a 7-game winning streak at the moment over probably our greatest rivals. Do I see this one continuing? I'd like to think so, but I think it's a very big danger game for Parramatta. Manly are wanting to get out early for sure. They want to register a win as much as we do, coming off their Golden Point loss last week. Interestingly, they've got a young gun here. I see Brad Parker coming back in. So they're up against, they got the Parker and Kelly centre pairing up against Jennings and Hayne. For mine, that could prove to be a bit big, crucial part of the game. Then we've got their Corey Norman playing 5'8" with Moses, and a forward pack for mine which needs to show a lot, especially in the bench. Need to show a lot more with what they've got there. So I see Parramatta winning by 8. Put them down as 8. They need to get up on the board. They need to be a top 4 team. See how we go with that one there. Last game, we've got the Raiders and the Knights. So we've got here, the Raiders need to prove that they've changed from last year. I think there's going to be a lot of critics coming out now and just question what there are about as a club. They've came back, they lost from an 18-0 lead. That's pretty big, especially against a side that many think will get the wooden spoon or be down there thereabouts. So that's pretty big for them as a club to have that loss. Do I see him beating the Knights? I do. I do think they're going to come back, and especially as it's in Canberra, it's a hard place to go and win. The Knights, though, they showed last week that they're going to be thereabouts all year, and they're not going to lie down too easy. They're going to be there to win a game if it's there for the taking, especially now they've got a halfback like Mitchell Pearce who can stand up and control a game at club level. But for mine, they've got Blake Austin moving back to 5'8". Caesar starting on the bench for Williams. I don't know if that's the way they're going to start. I'd definitely have Caesar there as my starting halfback if I was the coach of the Canberra Raiders. But big questions. They've got to come out here and they've got to win this game, and then we'll see how they go moving forward. But early on, this is a crucial game for the Canberra Raiders to set something up for the season and show what they're going to be about as a club. So got the Raiders here winning this one. I've got them to win by 4. I think it's going to be a close game, but we'll see how we go there. So good luck. Hopefully you guys tip better than I did. Only got 4 last week, so it's always hard at the start of the year working out teams, what they're like. But enjoy this week's footy. Go out there and watch one of the games if you can. And on Sunday, good luck to the big family game, Manly and Para. So good luck to everyone there. I know I've got a lot of Manly supporters listening and a lot of Para supporters. Definitely going to be some banter leading up to the game and no doubt afterwards for whoever wins. So win or lose, I'm ready for it. So bring that one on and enjoy your weekend, guys. Stay safe.